Alright, so let's get started on, we're gonna remove this dog from the image he's in, the white background, and put him in this yard. Or, sorry, this is a park. But also, before we do that, let's remove this guy and use the content aware to fill him in. So, first things first, open the Photoshop document if you haven't, and then you can follow along. Now I just grabbed these images off the internet and copied and pasted them in, but we're going to hide the dog layer for now and select the park layer and maybe zoom in here a little bit. We're going to take our lasso tool and we're just going to go around this guy in the park bench. We're going to try to get as close as we can. Make sure we get the shadow. And there we have it. Okay, so this guy's selected. Now, what we want to do is right-click within our selection. And actually, before we do that, let's make a duplicate layer, just so we have something to fall back on. We're going to right-click in our selection, and then fill, and fill with content aware. Content use, content aware, and hit OK. And now we have it. It kind of distorted it a little bit, but that's fine. What we'll do is we'll put the dog in front of it, and you won't even be able to tell. We'll hit Control D to deselect, and there we have content aware has filled that part where the park bench used to be. So you see he's used to be there, now he's not. When you use content aware, you can get really creative and only select what you want. Like we could have selected this, deselected that, and just selected the park bench and the shadow. But we're good for now. So now we're going to enable this this layer with a dog on it, and duplicate the layer. And you can right-click and hit duplicate. We'll hide the duplicated layer and make sure this layer is selected. And with this layer selected, we're going to use the mask tool. But first, to create the mask, we're going to use our quick selection tool. And we want to make our brush a little bit smaller. And we just want to select the white. Sorry, I have a lot of things running on my computer. So, quick select tool is going pretty slow. It'll catch up here in a second. Hopefully. Let's try this again. Yeah, no. Sorry, I have a lot of things running, like I said, so I'm actually going to have to hold down Shift and click New Parts. I want this dog's ears. I want his feet. I want his feet. Okay, so I've selected the dog. I'm not gonna hit delete. What I'm going to do though, and by the way, I'm using Shift and Alt to Shift click to add a selection and Alt click to remove part of the selected image. All right, so I've got the dog. The next thing we're going to do is go to Adjustments and Mask Panel. In the Mask Panel, I'm going to hit this little circle with a square around it, and that's going to add a mask. Now we want the dog, we want everything around the dog to be masked, not what we have here, not the background. So we're going to invert, reverse the selection, and then we're going to go into Mask Edge, and we're going to fine tune the mask. Something like 25 pixels. I don't know if Smart Radius is, yeah, Smart Radius might work for this. And again, I'm making this really quick. I'm not going into too much detail about the mask tool. Alright, so I'm gonna paint around him. So we want bits and pieces of him selected. And that's so terrible. Okay, so that's fine for now. What we're gonna do, getting into mask, we're gonna create a new layer with a new layer mask down here. I don't think, yeah, decontaminate is not gonna do anything. And hit OK. So he's very transparent at parts. What we're gonna do is we're gonna color in the mask. Now white shows and black hides. So with our white color selected as the foreground color, we're going to go and select our brush. That's the wrong brush. Our brush tool, and we're just going to let's make sure we're around 75% hardness. You could actually probably go a little bit harder, but we're just going to paint. We're going to paint this dog in. Just around the edges, and now mine's not perfect. In fact, mine's far from perfect. I have a lot of white color, so what I'll do is I'm going to switch. I'm going to hit X and go to the black color and paint black around the parts I don't want to show, because again, black hides, white shows. Got some on his back here. Now, I know this isn't perfect. I'll probably add maybe some choking around him. Now he's not going to look like he really fits in this scene, but for the sake of the tutorial, there's our dog cut out. We can yeah, I mean, that looks pretty good. We can move him around, put him right there. There's the dog in the scene. Now, if you have any questions, let me know.